About 30 years ago, I met a gentleman in Germany by the name of Peter Andrak. He was once a dealer, sold lots of motorcycles, and about 24 years ago, before it became Bob's BMW, and we're still just Bob's used parts, I had an opportunity to buy a couple of old motorcycles for him, a pair of 1929s, an R62 and an R57, which reside outside my office. We're breaking in and out, and been the proud caretaker of those for almost a quarter of a century. Both of those bikes had been hidden under a piece of canvas in a parking garage for about 40 years, and within an hour or so of getting them back here and out of the crate from Germany, myself, longtime customer friend John Tuma, Steve Hatfield, a couple other people, we had them both running in the parking lot. And I knew there was always one more bike. It was tucked in a corner. I never got to see it. It was behind boxes and tires and just lots of junk. And he would never let me see it. He said, someday when I retire, you'll get to see what's back there. And true to his word, he called me up and said, my mechanic is retiring. I'm closing up the business. My wife and I made plans, went over to Munich. And this thing came out from behind boxes. The piece of canvas it was sitting under was probably 50 years old when it was thrown over the motorcycle 45 years earlier. And 20 minutes later, we had it running in the parking lot. So wow. We've decided to finally get it out of the crate it's been sitting in, and we're going to hang it from the ceiling in here in the next few weeks. I think we just keep it right there for the time being. We'll get the trailer out here, and then we'll get it back. Thank you. We're not going to fire it up because it got pickled once before, and if we start it up, then we have to pickle it again to hang it on the ceiling. So. This is a 1928 R62, and for the most part, it's pretty original. You know, whatever was changed was changed prior to 54 years ago.
Have you ever ridden one this old?
I've ridden this one, so and I've ridden the others in the back, and I have ridden. There's if anyone wants to peek in my office window, I'll go back and open up the door. There's a 1913 Indian single cylinder that came out of the Otis Chandler collection in California. For anyone that doesn't know who he was the publisher of the Los Angeles Times. It was actually the second collection of his cars, motorcycles, memorabilia, toys, and stuffed animals. He had a wildlife museum that was sold. He went through an ugly divorce some 25 years earlier, sold almost everything he owned to finance that divorce, and he passed away the second time around. I was actually out helping a friend try and acquire a 1925 R32, similar to the one that's in the back. He was not the high bidder, and it was a very sordid motorcycle. And that's hard to say about something that is very rare. Somebody else walked off of that bike for far more than most of us thought it was worth.
Sorted or sorted?
Sorted. Sorted. That other bike had come out of the Black Forest. It had been sitting outside rusting for some 40 years. And it was in pretty sorry shape. At some point it had an engine transplant, so the frame and engine were out of two different series, and it still sold for $70,000. So, and this is 5 years ago now. But I had that riding around the parking lot there before we had it shipped home. So.
Wow.
We don't let people sit on our bikes of this vintage very often, but since we have this out here, anyone that would like to throw a leg over and put their hands on the handlebar, feet on the foot pegs, be my guest. If you got a friend here with a camera. Where's Susan? So, if you're there, we're going to exploit you mercilessly and put you on the website.
Start it up.